Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Life with CeCe, the podcast. Thank you so much for being here. Really quick before we get started, y'all know I always like to tell y'all to like and share this so that someone can get into this conversation today, and maybe you'll be blessed by this testimony, y'all. You do not know what other people, you could be sitting in the presence of someone that is going through maybe the very same battle that you're going through, or maybe they overcame it already and they're able to help you. So I have my sister, friend, virtual sister and friend that I've never met ever in my life, but we met through a mentorship that we did together. Um,
Mhm.
and she's here today. I seen her video maybe like 2 weeks ago of her sharing her testimony, and I was just floored, like mouth wide open, like could not believe that someone that I knew went through something like this, and I never knew it the whole time. No, I mean, I guess I'm kind of nosy a little bit, but I mean, I feel
Yeah,
like I knew everybody, just enough, what I needed to know about them, blah, blah, blah. But like I said, I seen her video, and I was just like, you have to share this testimony. Like, I need you to come on my podcast and share this. It's so good. So we're gonna get into it. I have her here with me. Thank you so much, Jonielle, for being here. This is the first time we've never talked on the phone, nothing like that. We've only talked through Instagram, and
yeah.
like 2 years ago we used to be on Zoom together with our mentor, but that ended when 2020. So we've
About that.
yeah, I try to keep in touch with everyone. Y'all know me. I try to keep in touch with everybody to, see how you're doing and things like that. And like I said, that's how I kept in touch with her. So thank you for being here. You could go ahead and introduce yourself, let the people know what you got going on, and then we'll go into your testimony.
Thank you for just having me. This is amazing. And yeah, you're like the connector. You always keep connected with everybody, bring us together. And I just love that about you. So hey everyone, my name is Jonielle. I'm from Miami, Florida. My family's from Jamaica and Cuba, mainly Jamaican. And yeah, I'm an electrical engineer and I'm just happy to be here. I'm also the founder of Bias Power on Instagram as well.
Okay, so y'all follow by his power on Instagram. See, and that's another thing. I never knew that you had like a foundation that you founded either. Like we just talk, like basically every time we talk, we're talking through like replying to each other's story. That's how
Yeah,
we talk. Like, but at the same time, we feel like so close, like we've been knowing each other our whole lives. So Instagram is a really powerful tool. So,
it
like I
sure is.
said, I today our subject is gonna be taboo. We're gonna be talking all things that are taboo in our families, all things that are taboo in our church, and just different things. Now, y'all know I have these cards for decorations. Ain't no questions on here. But I'm gonna think of my questions as we go along, because I'm telling you, this testimony is so good. And if y'all have questions, put it in the chat so we can answer them, and I'll try to put them on the screen as we go. So um, you I'm gonna just give y'all a little gist of what we're gonna be talking about. So, you, Jonielle, you said you struggle with, first of all, masturbation, pornography, guilt, shame, same sex identity, all that, all into one. And God really delivered you from those things. And that's a lot of times in the Christian faith, like we feel like those things don't happen to us. Those things don't happen. When it does, like you are a
Yeah.
Christian, you're a believer as well, and this happened to you, but you were able to get through it with the help of God. So just go ahead and let the people know like how you got started, just share your story. The floor is yours.
All right, cool. So it was about when I was 6 years old. I actually found pornography in my own home. So that's back in the day when we had those big box TVs and the VHS and DVDs.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually found it in like my parents' closet and I put it in and start watching it. You know, kid is curious. So I started
Yes.
watching it, and then my mom came in the door in the room, and where we had our TVs, it's like an armoire, so it's like a little area, and it has closed doors that you could close the doors.
Mm-hmm.
So when she came in, I closed the doors out of like fear or like punishment. So I knew I did something wrong or something was wrong. And
Yes.
then she just looked at me. Like there was nothing said, but her body spoke volumes. So that's the
Mm-hmm.
first time guilt and shame actually visited me as a kid. And
Mm-hmm.
then time went on. I never like saw it again until about middle school. And that's when I realized somebody in my own family struggled with or view pornography. Because back in the day, everybody didn't have a laptop. It was one laptop to a home, one
Yes.
like computer to a home.
Yes.
So pop-ups will come up on the computer, and I was like, oh, that's like similar to what I saw back in the day. And that's when I'm like, okay. And then when I went to school on the school bus, there was people watching pornography like for fun or just saying those stuff, but we're always guys. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, all right, so this is kind of weird. I don't know what's going on, but hey. And then later on, like between middle school and high school, I always heard people saying, "Oh yeah, I struggle with pornography and masturbation and lust," and they're just giving their testimony or they just speaking out, whether they be from the church, the community, family, friends, whoever. And but there were always guys. There were no women, so that made me feel like something was wrong with me, whether it be genetically, physically, or mentally. And then that's when shame just came upon me like heavy. So I kept it a secret, of course. 'Cause I'm like, who I'm going to tell? Like, who can relate? And I actually wanted representation. I didn't want them to like struggle with it, but I
Mm-hmm.
just wanted someone who I can relate to,
Yeah.
and then just encourage me along the way, like how the guys were getting it. You feel me?
Yeah.
So I didn't engage in masturbation until my sophomore year of high school. And it was actually encouraged by my boyfriend at the time. And after we broke up, that's when I went into a spiral of just the porn addiction and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it just got worse over time. Before, I didn't think anything of it. But later on, when I got to college, like my eyes were open. I'm like, okay, this is not that good of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually when I started to deepen my relationship with God. So, I was getting convicted now.
Okay.
And 2016 is when a lot of stuff in my family happened. So a lot of people in my family have passed away in like over the course of 4 years, about 5 or 6 people. And then 2016 was the last one of that set. And then I was going through depression at that time. Academics weren't so great, even though people saw me in a high light. I was president of these different orgs. I was functioning well to an extent, but I was struggling and like sinking in the inside. And when I look back, and I always tell people, like during that time, I do consider myself a functioning porn addict because like no one knew. And it was towards the end of that year that I just had to tell somebody what I was going through.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like December of 2016 that I spoke up. Like I reached out to a small group leader who was very transparent and open with her own life. And I asked her to just come over, and I told her, and then we talked, and she became my accountability partner. And one thing I'll say about that year, I numbed myself so much from what I was feeling with
Mm-hmm.
lust, with pornography and masturbation. So I couldn't feel anything. And it helped me to function. But at the same time, I normally had like a mini fridge in my apartment. I had wine coolers and a bottle of wine because your girl loves bubble baths and wine. So I like that. Even my apartment, when I go apartment session, I have to have a tub. Y'all can keep the showers. I don't want no fancy shower. I do not. Give me a tub. Okay, I need that. Or give me both. I'll take it. But I need that tub.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember that year I didn't drink at all, because I told myself, I'm like, I don't see myself as a functioning alcoholic, but I see myself as a functioning porn addict because that's something that's familiar. And then also, which I learned in therapy, was that my therapist asked me, how come you won't drink or you won't smoke? I'm like, because I see family members and family friends go down like downhill because of it. And it's like, oh, so you never seen somebody who struggled with pornography who went downhill? And I was like, ooh, you're right. I haven't in my family or family friends. Um, so yeah. So after I reached out to a small group leader and got her as an accountability partner, the journey began. It was a rough one in the beginning. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
I was so numb. I was so ashamed that anytime I talked about it, I started crying. So right now, from then, she calls me a crybaby. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
them who were there in the beginning of my journey call me a crybaby
Mm-hmm.
because I will always cry. I was so ashamed. I beat myself up so much because I'm like, how can God forgive me? I slip up so many times. I do this so many times. Like, how can God really forgive me? I couldn't seem to accept his grace and forgiveness. It was just
Mm-hmm.
so like out of sight. And it was through my friends and my community that I was able to get a grasp of what grace is and what his love is. So that was really good. I didn't understand it. And then it was in May of 2017 that I actually received God's forgiveness and grace in regards to that struggle. Your girl was on the top of the world, okay? I
Mm-hmm.
felt so great. And later on that day is the same time that I realized that I also struggle with SSA, which is same sex attraction. So attraction towards women as well. And I was like, ooh, I'm not trying to deal with this right now. I feel too good. We're going to deal with this on another day.
Yeah.
So I told one person, and then I was like, I'll put you underneath the rug. And I basically suppressed it until the end of 2018, the beginning of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I had to deal with it. Stuff came up. I had some mistakes that were intertwined in with it in a way, and it just came up, and couldn't really shake it. So that says that shows that whatever you suppress will come back up and
Yeah.
resurface. So please deal with your emotions. God doesn't want us to suppress anything. He wants us to bring it to him. And
Yes.
so yeah, so after a bunch of stuff that happened in like May of 2019, that's when I started to actually deal with it. And I just opened up to a bunch of folks, like people in my community, people who I know who struggled with it in the past or currently do. And I just got advice from everybody. And one of the main things they told me was don't try to figure it out. Don't try to figure it out. Don't make it your identity and bring God in the midst of it every single time. I was
Yeah.
like,
Good
oh,
advice.
okay. Yeah. Good advice, but I didn't understand it. I'm like, don't try to figure it out. I'm like, but I feel what I feel. So like what's gonna what's going on?
Like a easier
And
said than done type thing.
yeah, exactly. And I just couldn't wrap my head around it.
Right.
And it was later on that I actually realized what they were talking about. So like basically how I deal with how I overcome and fight back with lust, pornography, masturbation. I use those skills or techniques
Mm-hmm.
and brought them over to same sex attraction. So having accountability, speaking to God honestly in the moment, be like, God, like, so if I'm, so say with lust, like, I'm horny. I'm just gonna tell God, God, I'm horny. If I want a certain sexual act to happen, I'm like, God, I just want this to happen. Like, I was just completely honest with God, and it
Right.
helped. So same thing with SSA. If the person I'm attracted to is in the moment, I'm like, is in front of me or whatever, I'll be like, God, these feelings are coming up. I'll say in my head, I'm like, God, these feelings coming up. Can you please help me here? Or I'll tell God whatever I'm feeling, right? And He helped me through it. And just identifying my triggers, having a game plan before I'm tempted so that I can know what to do when I'm tempted. So those things helped. And then, like, it's a journey. It's not linear, it goes up
Yeah.
and down.
Yeah.
um, it's crazy, but like, I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of renewing of my mind. There's a lot of progress. Like, I I never thought I would be smiling saying this.
Hmm.
And even my friends have been saying, and they're so proud. So I'm like, I have come a long way, and like, there's hope for anybody who struggle with either of those. But yeah, so that's basically it, to be honest.
That's so good. Now you know I got a million questions in my head.
Bring
Um,
it.
First, I'm so proud of you for coming here and telling your story. I've seen you on, Instagram and other places responding to people who want to know more about your story. And I know it's just got to be a freeing relief, like weight up off your shoulders to finally be able to
Mhm.
get it out there and not feel condemned or guilty about the things that you're feeling, because I think a lot of people need that. Like,
Yeah.
once you finally get it out there and you know, okay, so we use our platform, social media, to tell our story, but everyone doesn't have that same courage to do that, and so it takes a lot of courage to do that. So I'm so proud of you. But once you
Thank
get it out
you.
there, you have to be ready for whatever comes with it, because especially on social media, somebody ain't gonna like your skirt, somebody ain't gonna like your shoes, somebody ain't gonna like your story. Even though you're
Yeah.
doing it to help someone else, somebody's not gonna like it. So, like I said, once again, I'm proud of you. You're brave.
Thank
Um,
you, girl.
you're Kurt. Listen, because when I'm telling y'all, when I seen her video, I was like, what? Like, no, this, how could this, happen to my sister? You know what I'm saying? Because y'all know I got a million sisters and aunties and uncles and cousins. So, everybody, we're all related, okay? So, I want to go back to when you said this pornography addiction started at 6 years old. Well, when you were first exposed to it.
Hmm.
During that time, Lord, see, this is so good because now, like, I have to put myself out there and it's pushing me. Mama, I love you, but I'm gonna tell you one thing. I watched some porn, okay? But I never liked it though, and I wasn't 6 years old. So at the age 6, like, what was it like? What you're watching porn? I know you said you found it in your house. Um, what was it like when you first like seen it? Like, oh, I need to watch some more of this, or like, what were you feeling at the time?
When I was 6, it was like, okay, what is this? What, like, you have it, so like the DVD, it was like, okay, what's this? And you were just curious, so I just put it in
Mm-hmm.
and watching. I'm like, okay, like kind of like troubled, like
Right.
confused. That's the word, confused. I was confused.
And my mom is on here now, and she is so surprised. I'm so sorry, Gelly, but you never knew. But I
Hi,
found the
mama.
DVDs, okay? But yeah, so you said you felt confused. Okay, so when your mom came into the room, you said she didn't say anything. You could just
No.
tell by her body language, like she saw it, she knew, but she never did. She ever have a talk with you or anything like that?
Ooh, no talk. So
No.
I recently had a talk with my mom and told her my full testimony because I knew I was going to be vocal on social media. So I was like, here's a warning.
Yeah.
So that's the first time we ever talked about it. I'm 26. That's 20 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. So we just had a talk.
So here I'm
Um, yeah.
29. Hey, mama.
It happens.
Right. Like, okay, so in that moment you never got talk, nothing like that. So
No.
you said moved on to middle school. See, I'm trying to remember what you said now. You moved on to middle school and you were seeing other males. You never seen other females. Like, so what did
Hmm.
that make you feel like? Like, what?
It made me it made me feel just weird because number one, I was also a tomboy back in the day too.
Mhm.
So I love sports. I was always with the guys. I didn't understand why girls like to talk a lot. So I was always with the guys. And then seeing that they struggle with it and no women are like watching it. So it was like something wrong with me. Like I know I like sports and whatnot, and I hang more with the guys, but then that just like put it over a little edge, like, what's going on? So I questioned how I'm built. Like, did God make a mistake with me?
Right. That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. I could say like when I would watch it, like I would sneak to watch it too. I put the little DVD in the computer, but I didn't ever. I mean, I felt kind of weird because I was like, why do I like this as well? But now I'm
Hmm.
like, I cannot. I can't do it. Like I'm totally disgusted by just even the thought of I was ever watching it. So it's just man that it makes you feel a little bit more free once you get it out there. I ain't gonna lie, but
Yeah.
yeah, I I don't know. I guess I kind of felt the same way. Like God, like why do I want to watch this? Like what am I looking at? I didn't even know what I was looking for at that time. I think I was like maybe like 13, 14. But um, going on to you said your boyfriend at the time introduced you to masturbation, or you already was tapping into it before.
He introduced me to it. So I didn't know how to do it and whatnot, and he basically taught. And then, yeah. And then from there, so after the introduction, so when we broke up, like I continued.
Okay,
But yeah, before that, I wasn't engaging in it.
right. Now, would you say you said you were a functioning addict? Like, would it be something to trigger you, or you felt like this is my way to relax that would have you? Uh, that's why the computer always had a virus. No, Gelly, stop what you are doing because hey, they wasn't my CDs. I don't know whose CDs they was, but they wasn't mine. I just found them. But what was I asking? Oh, was it your way to relax? Was it your stress reliever or what?
It was, yeah, it was my way to relax because I forgot which chemicals that release the endorphins or the dopamine, whichever one. There's a chemical release
Mm-hmm.
that occurs after you masturbate or have sex, right? So that release will help me go to sleep. So like one of my triggers would be being overwhelmed, especially in college, just overwhelmed, and sometimes your mind is just racing,
Yeah.
and like sometimes I want to sleep but I can't.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be my way to fall asleep. And then
Okay.
also just being stressed with life, it'll be like it'll be a relaxer, and then also to get me to out of my head. So yeah, relaxer, yeah,
All right.
stress
Okay.
reliever.
So we have a comment right here said, I feel like
Sure
CeCe
thing.
isn't being completely honest. She isn't revealing anything about herself and she's asking private questions to Jonielle. So actually I'm gonna go ahead and respond to that. I'm not sure who you are, but thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. This
Mhm.
actually isn't about me, so that's why I'm asking her the questions, and I also have permission to ask her all of these questions. But thank you
Yeah.
for watching and also listening. Okay, so next question. Let's see. You said that you connected to a small group that helped you, kind of walked you through it. What was that like having that support? Did you have like the support from your family as well, or did you feel like you had to reach out to everyone else, to someone else?
Oh no, no support from my family because my family didn't know.
Okay.
So yeah, all my support came from my friends. So yeah, my small group leader, I was a part of InterVarsity Christian Fellowship at the time at USF, University of South Florida, and basically I had Black student ministries that I was a member of, and we had a small group leader. She was very transparent. I reached out to her, and then she became like my main support system at the time for a while, and then other small group leaders also supported me as well, and it was just great.
Mm-hmm.
um, just to have that community to like uplift you, point you back to God, encourage you, like just be there with you and like be like, no, like it's okay, like you're forgiven, like there's grace. He's helping you to do better next time. Like it's okay, like have a fighter verse, hold on to that, like go through the game plan with you, be
Right.
there when you need the game, when you need them. And it's just great to have community.
Right.
But yeah.
Okay, so we have another question. Do you think a talk at age 6 would have helped you for the future?
Yes, of course. So actually, so yes, and actually a hug would actually be great for me too. I even talked about that through therapy, how I needed. a hug and a talk, saying, "Hey, this is not right." Even though you found her home, like this is not something that's right, and like just have that conversation and like nothing is wrong with you. Like you didn't do anything too bad, but like I don't want you going in this direction.
Yes.
Just some type of conversation would have helped.
Yeah.
What I'm doing right now with my brother, he's 11, so we're 15 years apart. I'm like his second mom, to be honest. And I have open conversations with my brother and also my sister nowadays too. And in 2020, yeah, I think 2020, when Pastor Mike Todd had that Relationship Goals Reloaded
Mm,
series, the last three sermons we all watched together, and they were focused on sex and pornography. And we talked about each sermon after the sermon, right? And my brother, he knows about sex, he knows about pornography. We don't bring it in front of him like to watch it, but he knows that we describe it to him, and so that if his friends present it to him, he can identify, hey, this is pornography. And I've also given him tools like tips what to do
mm,
if he comes across those type of things.
that's
And
good.
yeah, so like if I got exposed at 6 and I saw people in like middle school look at it and watch it, he's gonna see it. And kids nowadays are learning about stuff and doing stuff a lot earlier. So yeah.
No, that's good. And I really think that it's awesome that you are creating a safe space for your brother who is younger, and he probably is, of course, the world that we're in today. They have cell phones. We didn't have all that. We didn't have cell phones. I mean, we had computers, but like you said, it was one computer to the house. Like,
Hold
we
on, girl.
didn't
I
have
can't hear
the
you.
exposure. You can't hear me? Oh, bless it. So refresh your browser and come back. Can you hear me? Okay, I'm gonna keep talking until she can hear me again. Can you hear
Hello?
me now? Can you hear me now? No. I'm gonna answer this comment, and this is the
No.
last time I'm gonna respond to you. So your show is based on asking
Can
people.
y'all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, but I can't hear you.
Uh-oh. Hold
Alarm went
on.
off and then it ended.
Hold on. I'm gonna take her out really quick, y'all. Technical difficulties. 1 second. Move. Bring her back. Can you hear me now?
No.
No. Refresh. Okay, hold on. I'm about to. I gotta type her real quick, y'all. It's all right. Did you get that private
Gave
chat?
us
Oh, I'm
that
about to
quiz.
text her. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Those technical difficulties. That's okay. That's okay. Love for space. Safe space. I don't know. It's obviously a troll. I don't know who
Y'all
that
can
person
hear us.
is. Hold on. I'm about to text her real quick, y'all.
Oh, wait.
Okay, I don't know who 100% true is, but it's obviously a troll, and I'm actually flattered that I have a troll. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Oh,
She can't hear me, y'all. She refreshing her browser now. So your show, I'm going back to that comment. So your show is based on asking people about their private details, all while you sit and look pretty. Thank you so much, because I don't really feel pretty today. But thank you so much for your compliment. And also, um, this isn't about me. This is about Jonielle and her testimony. So yeah, that's what it is. It's not that I struggled with the same thing she struggled with. We're just getting her story out here. We're talking about the things that are taboo to families, Christians, and just the culture altogether, because as black people we don't really talk about these things. Can you hear me now, Jonielle?
yeah, everything's perfect.
Bet. We're back. We're back and we're better. We were talking about creating a safe space, as I was saying. I think it's awesome that you create that safe space for your brother, because he is younger and he has so much more exposure than we had to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we had to go find the DVDs, and that's what we watched. You know what I'm saying? He could just click a link and, see the
Yep.
things that he's not supposed to see. So, yeah, so I'm so proud of you for just, like I said, sharing your story all together. I want to get into the deliverance part about it. We're gonna bring this thing
All right.
around. We're gonna preach this and we're gonna take it on home. So um you connected to
Mm-hmm.
a small group where you had your mentor that helped you out, and then you said your friends supported you and things like that. But where were you, and what was the how did you know that it was God that was saying, like, I'm gonna help you through this and I'm gonna get you, through it?
I'll say it was kind of like along the way, I was just rejecting it. So it was like from a little bit, it was like when after I met up with her, my accountability partner, but it
Mm,
was like full force after we went to this conference called Jesus Encounter. And like that's when I accepted his grace and forgiveness. Like it just came upon me. It was just heavy. And it's like
mm,
there's nothing I can do to make him love me. He already does, you know? Like
that's good.
even if I slip up in this moment, like he loves us like in this moment, like as we are. And if we don't do anything else, he still loves us. And that's just the beauty of it. And if we continue to slip up, he still does. And it was just it just became freeing. Like once I accepted it, because I was condemning myself a lot. Because I knew God didn't condemn me because I am in Christ, but I didn't believe it for myself. So me not believing, even though I know, then that was just messing it up, and then I was condemning myself.
Yeah.
So that was like there was a disconnect. But once I forgave myself and allowed myself to be human, and allow God to just walk with me, and allow the people around me to walk with me,
Yeah.
then like the freedom, I started walking in my freedom more.
Yeah. And in that, I like what you said. You knew that God loved you, but you didn't believe it. And that's the
Mm-hmm.
thing that we have to grab a hold to. I know that I'm forgiven, but if I don't believe that I'm, like, you could know everything, but like
Yep.
I know a lot of things, but I just don't believe it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that I am rich. I know that I am, you know what I'm saying? I am
Yep.
loved. I know that, God's grace is, unmeasurable. But if we don't believe it, then what we doing? What we doing?
Exactly.
Because I mean, I could sit here and spit fire all day, but if I don't believe what I'm saying, then it's just nothing. And so that's the part that we have to grab a hold to, is believing what God says about us is true. That we are loved, we are forgiven, we, you know what I'm saying? We are chosen, we are made in his image and his likeness. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing that we can do to make God love us more, like you said, or make him stop loving us. There's nothing that we can do. And like I said,
Nothing.
I can tell y'all this, but y'all got to believe it for yourself. And I am so glad, so glad that you have come to a place where you're able to share this testimony and you're able to believe the things that God says about you. Because I know for me, it's still hard for me to believe. Because a lot of people will speak over your life telling you, oh, you're so anointed, you're different, you're this and that. And if you don't
Mm-hmm.
see it for yourself and you don't believe it for
It's
yourself,
hard.
that's it's nothing. It's just words.
It's just
Just,
weird.
just words. So again, so proud of you. So proud of you for stepping out there. And I know it might be scary because I know doing this podcast is so scary. I don't know if anyone doesn't listen. If I only get two people to listen and somebody is blessed, I know that I'm doing what God told me to do. So
Exactly.
continue to share your story. What advice would you give someone who is maybe battling this right now, or maybe they thought that they were over it, or they thought that they had overcome it, and when something comes up, they're like, "Oh, I thought I was over this." What advice would you give to them?
First off, I want to tell y'all that like you're not alone, especially if you're a woman. Like you're not alone in this. There's other people who do struggle with it and who have overcome. It's just not said a lot in our community, especially. And then the second thing I want to say is that like you are free once you believe. Like once you believe in the work that was done on the cross, like you are free. And then
Yes.
it's just us to like walk in that freedom. So then you just do the work. Like what we this life we live in, this is just the sanctification portion of it. You
Mm-hmm.
know? Like we have our salvation when we believe our salvation is secure, and then it's sanctification. We go up and down. It's not linear, and then
Yeah.
we become 100% when we see God face to face. So like just know that it's a journey. Like it's a marathon, not a sprint. So please be patient with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Give yourself grace. Forgive yourself along the way. And also like things that help me. Getting accountability, identifying your triggers. This goes both ways for same-sex attraction and with lust, pornography, masturbation. So accountability, identify your triggers, have a game plan. If you gotta take some drastic measures and put your phone in the bathroom at nighttime, do it. You know, if you gotta have like a regular alarm clock to wake you up instead of your phone, do it. Um, what else? That having a game plan, like so, oh yeah, the reason why I say have a game plan is because you want to have a game plan before you're triggered, so that when you're triggered and like tempted, you know what to do, and you're not just stuck and giving quickly. And then also have fun, like enjoy life. So the chemicals that are released when you masturbate or have sex, it gives you a high. So replace it with physical activity.
Yeah.
So with that physical activity or hobby, I do roller skating. I'm so into roller skating right now, and I get
Yeah.
my high from that. So have a physical activity that can replace your other habit. You know, replace bad habits with good habits, and just get in community. There's a lot of people who are open with this, different ministries. Get plugged in. If you look for them, you'll find them. They're not just gonna be popping up on your timeline easy. The algorithm flushes them out. But like there's people out there who are walking the walk and talking the talk. So yeah, be
Yeah.
encouraged.
That's good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you again for being here. Y'all, I hope if you missed the first part, go back and listen, watch again. If you are listening to this on Apple, Google Podcasts, and all the platforms, Spotify, wherever, if you missed the live, go back and make sure y'all get all the parts of this testimony because it is so good. And I just thank you again for being here, Jonielle. Y'all, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat box. We could go back and she can go through and respond to you all on YouTube or Facebook, wherever you're watching from. And if you're listening to this, follow her on Instagram. Tell them where to follow you at.
All right, so my personal is KIDD number 4 EVA underscore. And then my by his power page is by BYHISPWR underscore by his power.
So good. Again, y'all, this has been another great episode of Life with CeCe, the podcast. And I pray that someone is blessed by this today. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you all next time. Bye.
Later. Thank you.